Konnichiwa, namaste, and whatever greetings, whatever other Asian languages. I was just thinking as I was going for my shower, a late shower. It's taken me ages to get around to this, but to get around to, and on that note, welcome to part two of Asian Tuesdays. The very, if anyone knows any other Asian languages, any other languages from Asia, please post them in the comments, either on Facebook and on YouTube, preferably both. And also, you've got to check it on live, also on Facebook, which I seem to be. So I'm live on, as usual, on Facebook and YouTube. I'm focusing on the YouTube screen for tonight. But yeah, if you know any Asian languages, please post them in the comments, and also their translations in brackets in English. I was thinking I only know English, and even that I don't know very well. So, especially, well, I can't speak it very well, and I certainly can't write it very well, as people know, unfortunately. I rather embarrassing punctuation, stuff like that, as well as hoarding and things like that, which are a different note. But yeah, I think I'm making videos on my embarrassing punctuation, my embarrassing hoarding, and whatnot. Probably some of the things are too personal to talk about, but those are topics for the future. This month, for the rest of this month and much of June as well, I hope to focus on Asian empowerment, maybe in either July or August, or ASAP, but basically after June, when I'm not focusing on Asia, hopefully I'll talk about my embarrassing punctuation and my embarrassing writing style and my embarrassing hoarding problems as well as possible. But anyway, these are pointers number 11 to 20 as per usual, and for part two, and I hope I haven't forgotten anything. But yeah, if you can post anything you know in any Asian languages and whatever it says, whatever the meaning is in brackets. I was going to talk a bit about like dyslexia and how I think in different languages, as dyslexics think in pictures instead of words. I imagine in China and Japan and places like that, and even across Asia where they have symbolic writing, dyslexia might not affect people in the same way or at the same level. That's probably why the prevalence of dyslexia is quite low. Also, their detection rates and understanding of dyslexia is not so great. But I don't want to talk too much about dyslexia. I want to talk more about Asia. Although I'm going to say pointers number 11 to 20. On that note, number 11, point number 11, I'd love to raise awareness of dyslexia and other related conditions. Also, I wonder, what do you think Asia could change to improve? I often think, like, for instance, personally, but I'd love to know, people out there, what do you think Asia could do to improve Asian nations, maybe particular specific Asian nations, or maybe Asia generally, like if they host those events I talked about, which could connect together Pan-Asianism, if they are more united, I think they'd do better. But I also think, ironically, although it's very academic and they probably look down on people with dyslexia or related conditions, especially dyslexia or ADHD or whatever, and I imagine that autism thinking differently, even though I think autism affects more social skills than academic skills. I think I've talked before, I'm sure, about what if the next Richard Branson, or even people like Elon Musk or Bill Gates, who are said to be neurodivergent, what if Charles Schwab, John Chambers and others, what if the next version of those was in Asia, but they needed to be given those opportunities to be unlocked in entrepreneurship? If Bill Gates was tested for autism and stroke or ADHD, I think that could be an inspiration for others. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it does show what you can achieve with such conditions, although it affects people differently, so it's not every autistic person can do that, to be fair, or whatever. But I suppose they already kind of do this, but I was thinking, like, what other projects could they have for, like, improving train and general transport links? I think China's already working on a lot of that. Could they expand that further, though, to more quickly, and find cost-effective ways, maybe even of doing so? I know they spend a lot of money on doing that, but to connect it, could they even work together and put their differences aside, like China work with Japan, India, even Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the rest of Asia, to sort of say, let's work, share ideas together, put our heads together in a positive way, and discuss how we can improve those transport links and things like that. I normally talk about, like, inventors, ideas, people, entrepreneurs, and that kind of thing, but I was trying to think of something different. So I was thinking about that kind of thing, and also tourism generally. I'm just hoping I didn't forget anything for point number 11, but I think, yeah, so changing perceptions of neurodiversity and seeing what neurodivergent people could do in entrepreneurship and different areas, what strengths we do have rather than what weaknesses we have. I'd love to have events for neurodivergent people and that kind of thing, and show what, especially like business people, neurodivergent business people, people with dyslexia, ADHD, autism, and whatnot. I said ADHD, didn't I? In business, and show them what they can, not that I'm one of them, but what they can do or what we can do as neurodivergent people. It's really weird. I've got one like, and it doesn't say any views. That's really weird. YouTube doing some weird stuff. But, thanks so much for the like. But yeah, I'd love to have your suggestions on what Asia could do, what they could improve, what events they could host, what they could learn about neurodivergent strengths, and thinking differently about neurodiversity, or even people with different disabilities, how they can improve animal rights and that kind of thing, and whatever else they can improve on. And moving on that note to number 12, what they could teach and learn from each other. And talking about transport links and tourism generally, I think it would be interesting to see what the transport companies train and other such transport companies. I think it was I'm going to take it as a Tuesday. But what could they do to improve tourism? One thing I could have said in point number 2, could have, should have, would have. But how can they improve tourism and that kind of thing? But I think I'm going to move on. Just so I didn't forget anything. To point number 13, and talking about forgetting things. In part 1, in point number 7, I didn't want to talk too much about. I know I do talk at this point, but I didn't want to talk too much generally, and I didn't want to talk too much about Celtic and Italian football. But it's not going too well for the Italian national team or club teams. But actually, I did want to talk a bit about, from a selfish point. I actually said it in the wrong order, but I want to talk about the selfish sort of dreams of mine and my fears. Like, I was thinking, I wanted to go to a bar or pub or whatever the difference is, a local Irish, kind of local, not completely local, but in my local city, which is about